The Sentinels of Magic storyline answered a few questions but left us with a massive cliffhanger when it comes to Mary Bromfeld, aka Sergeant Marvel. We saw her battle with inner demons the whole arc, and finally, after some serious pain and heartbreak, she said the magic word. Let's talk about that mid-season finale final scene and how we can look to the comics to see what might actually be happening with Mary moving forward. Now, before we break all this down though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, the huge giveaway. We got a PlayStation 5 to give away at 25,000 subscribers. All you need to do to get in on the giveaway is be a subscriber and leave us a comment. Also, while you're at it, make sure you check out that free Week of Skillshare down below. It's a pretty cool way for you to develop all of your superhero skills for that never-ending war on crime, all while not diving too deep into your pockets. Plus, it really does help the channel, so we really appreciate it. Well, we are on a mid-season break for Season 4 of Young Justice, so I thought it would be a great time to break down some of these storylines that are ever-evolving and definitely going to impact the future of the show. Let's kick off Whelmed Wednesday with Mary Bromfeld. Now, we watched Mary Bromfeld evolve the better part of this season's magical arc. Actually, she was set to appear long ago on the show. For long-term fans, her appearance was pretty exciting. We did get quite the update, though. She is no longer transforming into Sergeant Marvel, and she has actually become a student of Zatanna and learning to focus her magical abilities, although still somewhat tied to the gods of Shazam. Her struggles and inner demons finally got the best of her, and by the mid-season finale, with little goading by Granny Goodness, she finally cracked. So what's going to happen to Mary? Well, I think we might be able to look to the comics for some ideas. This is obviously speculation on our part, so keep that in mind. None of it's from Greg Weisman and his team, but let's buckle up and dive into some DC Comics history. Now, you have to keep in mind, comic stories unfold over much longer periods of time, but at a certain point in DC Comics history, the wizard Shazam was killed, and Mary, along with the rest of the Shazam family, actually lost their powers. When this event happened, Mary actually fell 3 miles and was left in a coma. After she recovered, she approached Black Adam, and interestingly enough, he grants Mary his powers. Now, this new version of Mary is quite violent, but she genuinely doesn't consider herself evil. Ironically, she approaches Zatanna for training in this comic arc, so the parallels to this show are quite interesting. Now, I don't think they're actually going to go into this section of the story. We haven't seen Black Adam in quite a while, and unless there's a major Shazam story arc in the second half, I don't really see where it could fit in. Now, in the comics, she is eventually approached by Dasaad, and sadly, she becomes one of his servants. Now, we do eventually find out she is possessed by Dasaad, and this turns her into quite the different version of her character. Now, Freddie Freeman does eventually save her by changing them both back to their human forms, so this story could actually play out with some new characters we haven't seen yet. On Earth 16, Freddie Freeman is known as Lieutenant Marvel, so we might actually get to see this character too, another character that's a long plan for the show, and join the team during that time frame that we don't know a lot between Season 1 and Season 2. Now, I actually believe that scene is a recruiting scene with Granny Goodness. Personally, I think we might see her join Granny and lead Granny's Furies. Now, Mary isn't historically a member of that team, but it is very possible, and I do believe she would fit in well. Well, at least in that black costume, which I really hope we get to see a version of on the show. We saw a good bit of the Furies in Season 3, so they are queued up and ready to appear. They are also an excellent fit for Mary during this evolution of her character. Dasaad and his storyline has been a long-reaching plot thread for Young Justice, one we have really seen very little of in Season 4. If, and we don't know this yet, but if Mary joins Dasaad forces as Sergeant Marvel, we very well might see this come to the forefront. But I wouldn't be surprised if we actually don't see anything from Mary until Season 5, another great reason to get the show renewed. Now obviously, once the show returns from its mid-season hiatus, we'll have way more details on what's going on. We actually don't have a release date for episode 14 as of yet. There are some rumors circulating it could be March the 31st, but nothing official has come from Greg Weisman, the Young Justice team, or HBO Max. So we'll have to wait and see. What do you guys think? Do you think Mary Bromfeld is evolving similarly to her character in the comics? And do you believe if she goes to the dark side, she'll take up the classic black suit? I actually really hope so. Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.